As you can see, we don't have a script as to who's going to say what. So in both our names, I guess we can all welcome you to this new edition, the first edition in 2021 of the Belgium Tableau user group. On a Thursday, as I think we've been doing almost every time, because it's a day that seems to work well.
Mhm.
Our logo is still one that I really like with the fries there. Did you know, originally designed as a joke, it ended up winning our Belgium Tableau user group logo contest because it is just so well representative of what we stand for, which is charge and fries. So all joking aside, I guess we have some actual content for today as well. We
Mhm.
are your usual hosts. Marianne, who does all the work, and me, who co-presents and then does some of the jokes throughout the presentation.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I'm not
Marianne, do
that
we introduce
funny.
our... That's okay, that's okay. Humor is a defense mechanism, they say sometimes, so I don't know what I'm hiding, but um, is it still relevant to present ourselves? I guess some people may be new, so why not,
Yeah, I
introduce us
think
and then I'll talk about.
to the folks that are new and that are joining us for the first time, welcome. My name is Marjan Arends. I work as an analyst at Suez, and I'm a Tableau ambassador for user groups. And Timothy?
Yes, thank you. I work as a consultant at Bistry. We're a Tableau partner in Europe. I think it's worth noting just for once that yesterday our UK division won Partner of the Year for UK, so we're all very proud of that. And let that be an indication of the quality of the work we try to deliver with Tableau. There isn't much more that's interesting to say about me. Maybe just a little about the Belgium user group. I didn't think we kept track, Marianne, but we've been going for over a year. Are we nearing 2 years even almost? I'm not sure.
I think the first one that we did when we started it off again was back in 2019. And that was an
Oh,
actual in-person meetup, and that was in Mechelen. That was October. So I think we're almost on 2 now.
oh, it was end of the year. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
there was a lot of work happening before that. So let's just say officially, we're at 2 plus, but
Okay, okay.
it's
Well,
counting. Yeah.
good. Well, ever since our mission hasn't changed much, which remains, as many Tableau user groups, to connect users, not just in Belgium, but especially, today, beyond as well, with people joining us from several European countries and even in America today. Um, for those of you who are new to the concept of user groups in general, maybe Marianne, a word or two about what the philosophy is there, because you are the user group ambassador. So,
Yeah, so just maybe speaking from my perspective, when I kind of started about thinking about what can we do for our little country, it was really about creating a space where folks can and deliver great content or share stories about some of the amazing things that they're doing. We're also trying to get more people involved in the platform and to kind of help each other out. But it's really, the idea was to connect with users within Belgium and now, of course, outside, and really create that space where we can learn from each other and have fun doing it. That was really my idea behind this. And I think we've been doing pretty well. We had some really great content last year. Looking forward to what we're gonna be able to deliver this year, and maybe some of you are interested in getting involved in running this whole show. So should you be interested, feel free to reach out to us or drop us a note. And yeah, for now, let's just kick
yeah,
off the first presentation, or maybe we'll introduce our fabulous speakers for today.
let's do that indeed. Indeed. We have a set of two speakers for today. So not a huge agenda, but one with content that I think will speak to the widest audience we can fathom. I mean, I'm saying there's not many speakers. We've had speakers of all kinds in the past as well. We've had some very technical presentations, to be frank,
Mhm.
which I personally find very interesting. And most people, I think, in the audience can learn from as well. But the contents here today, as far as I've seen, will be mostly inspiring and should, again, I think, be relevant to everyone.
Yes.
Um, we'll let the speakers introduce themselves as they do their, actual start of their bit of the presentation, we'll just mention them by name and say what they're gonna show you today. We have Michel from DPD Belgium, Luxembourg, joining us with an inspirational story on how a business can be, I think, one of the most data-driven that I've encountered up until today. And we have Annabelle, who is in Switzerland currently, and
Yes.
yes, and she'll be giving us a view on, it's not just design tips. I think I'm oversimplifying it by stating it like that, but I would like some design inspiration and tips for one, because I haven't been doing much desktop work lately, so I could use a refresher, and I think that, that's what's going to speak to me in any case. Um, so I think, I think that's us. I think that's the introduction.
Yep.
And I would normally say I'm going to hand over to Michel, but this is a bit of a co-presentation. It's his story really, and I'm just going to show a little bit of interactive content in the end. But he'll be walking us through everything that um, really is interesting about this story and what we will learn about. So, Michel, I'll be driving the slides for you, but the floor is actually yours.
Yes, thank you, Timothy. So, Timothy, I've also seen that your boss is also on the call right now. So,
Look at that. So he is after
no,
all.
yes, thanks. Yeah, it's a real honor to be present here today and to give you a short update of what we are doing within DPD based on data. So I think it's an understatement to start with that a lot of people doesn't know that bringing a parcel from point A to point B is a real data-driven issue or data-driven business as of today. I'm the BI and analytics manager within DPD Belux, but I'm also part of the data office as a business unit data officer within DPD Group. Later on, I will come back on that. Just as a small introduction, more than 20 years of experience in the data space. I'm an accountant from education, so never been really in the IT, but I was inspired about technology, innovation, and mostly bringing technologies together, in fact. So this was a joint project and together with Bistory, because from DPD side, we strongly believe in very, very strong partnerships. In this presentation, it is all built on top of Tableau, the Tableau engine, and under the hood, we work in a strong partnership with SnowFlake, and I also have seen that some of the SnowFlake people are in the call. So Timothy, yeah, I don't know if you need another introduction. So Timothy will take a little bit a part of the visualization, I can conclude. So it was a joint effort together with Timo and Bistory, in fact. Before we go to the next slide, so it's not only my job, it's not only my work, and that's something that I want really to highlight. And they are going to shoot me, they are going to kill me, but it was a team effort, in fact. So the next slide, I took it this morning on our BI meeting. They didn't notice, but this is my team at the moment. So 3 of them are really experienced people with also an operations background. And that's exactly what I want to touch, or the touch point is that if you want to make some great data-driven products or applications on, or you can call it whatever, you need also to have those business insights. And Tim, Maarten, and Manu, they started all their career in DPD in the operations. So it's a huge value of information that we got from them. They know every scanning by heart. They really know how the parcel is going from A to B, how the sorting is going on, etc., and the delivery afterwards. And Leonard, he joined us a couple of months ago. He's a real Tableau guru, so that's also what we need. And Marleen recently joined us a couple of weeks ago in the role of a data scientist, because also there we believe that we can deliver a lot of additional information and data to our customers. Maybe you can continue in the slides, Timothy. So The four things that I want to explain in this presentation is, who is DPD Group? What are we doing in the Benelux region? And then the real business case, what our day-to-day struggle is, and how we solve it with what we call the HeartBeat solution. I will quickly go over a little bit on driving change, because this is really in our DNA. And references, maybe we can skip that one and see if there are some questions, because I'm also happy to answer the questions together with Timothy. Yes. So DPD, everybody knows the vans that you see on the street. We are a parcel delivery. We pretend to be the experts in parcel delivery, and we are part of a bigger group, DPD Group, in fact. And DPD Group consists or is consolidating 37 countries in the EMEA region. And also recently, we are expanding towards new markets in Asia, Africa, Latin America, and they are even thinking to do an expansion in the US. So DPD Group is also part of a very, very strong group on top of it, and it is the group La Poste in France. So what is not yet clear for me is what DPD is standing for, because from origin we are a German company, direct Deutsche Paketdienst, and now nobody knows, because we are in a French group, what exactly DPD is standing for, but let's summarize it as direct parcel distribution, in fact. So can you go to the next one? So this is a little bit to show you, in fact, what we are doing. So Group La Poste, it's 4 business units, 26 billion of turnover in 2019. I don't know exactly the figures for 2020. And we see that in that consortium, DPD Group has an average of 30% of the turnover on his account. Maybe also to the next one. So DPD Group is a real key player in Europe, and that's something, if you are talking about parcel delivery, everybody's thinking about DHL, UPS, and all our other competitors, but we are really doing very, very well in Europe. And we have a presence in 23 countries, and every month we see new countries popping up or new businesses coming into our network, in fact. Yes, Timo? So, and that's maybe a very interesting one. These are still figures for 2019. So let's say the lockdowns and the boom in the e-commerce is not yet taken into account in these figures. So 1.3 billion parcels delivered worldwide. I think it's an impressive figure. If we count in an average, at this moment, we are doing around 200,000 parcels each night in our Belgium and Luxembourg network. 77,000 delivery experts that are on the road to bring your parcel every day at home. Also, I think a very, very impressive case. Yes, that's the international one. Yeah, if you can continue. So, and what is very, very important in a world like DPD is innovation. And innovation is really in our DNA, and it keeps us moving and always continuously thinking on how can we do it better, in fact. And I already see it in my team. We are a rather small team in Belgium, but quite often with my team members, we go into the depots just to see how the systems are working and what we can do to achieve a better measurement towards our customers, in fact. If you are talking about customers, it is a mix, but you have to put yourself a little bit in the ID. We have some big shippers in our portfolio, big e-commerce platforms. And if we are talking about shippers, we are talking about those companies who puts a lot of volume into our network, volume in terms of parcels. You also know that everybody here in the call, you can send a parcel with DPD, but that amount is not representing the whole turnover and the whole flows and volumes that we will present later on. So DNA is the innovation DNA is very, very important. If you can go further, Timothy. So to give you some examples, innovation is driven in a specific group within DPD group, in a specific business unit. So, and it's go from customer experience, and predicts is something that we will touch later on. The autonomous vehicles program is something where we are testing on drone deliveries. We already do it in Paris between one of our hubs and a major hospital to deliver via drones medicines and critical equipment. We do a lot of investing in startups and technology startups mainly. And one of the things is, if you have the occasion to talk with our group CEO, with Boris, he's always talking about parcel delivery volumes, but always with a sustainability and go green ID behind. And that's quite unique, I think. Yes, Timothy. So quickly to present you Belux, Belgium. You can go to the next one. So click on it. So because it's our different book. So we have a clear ambition to build a sustainable company in the time frame of 2018 to 2023. And this was a prediction in 2018. And I hope you can understand that everything that we have seen in the last year with the lockdowns, the rise of, let's call it, the e-commerce platforms, our ambition and our approach has has changed quite a lot. And in fact, we have to monitor that on a continuous way. And for example, what we will see later on is, we never predicted that the volumes would raise with 40% last year, even 60% on some points. And it means that we had to act very, very quickly. Maybe you can go to the next one. Yes. So what we are building our business on 4 pillars. And we want to build successful and a sustainable future on the 4 people. We pretend that we have the best people in-house. And it's not only the driver who is coming at your door. And what makes me happy is that quite often my friends and neighbors tell me, listen, if someone from DPD is on my door, he or she is always smiling. So it's a different approach than, for example, that we see with your competitors. We try to use the best technology to achieve that. And I think, that's also why we are here. We see within the network, within DPD Group, so every country is a little bit independent in the choice of the technology that he or she is using. And it's going from quite different tooling. And maybe one of the best examples is the UK. They are going on a Google platform, but for example, France is very hard in the belief that open source will help them. So we are continuously looking to the best technology, and I think that we have it now in-house after a long search with Tableau and with SnowFlake, in fact. We want to offer the best quality and also the go green, but that's not an issue. That's good. So yes, our network, and that's quite unique also. So like I said, we try to treat every night around 200,000 parcels in our network. We are a little bit an atypic player within DPD Group. We are not the biggest one. Customers or BUs like Germany, France, the Netherlands are much bigger than we are. UK is the absolute #1 on the parcel markets in the UK, in the UK region. So our network is, we have 10 depots. We have around between 800 and 1,000 drivers every day on the road. And that's exactly the case that we are going to present today, how we are trying to help them to do their work in a more efficient and cost-efficient way. And around 522 full-time equivalent operational staff in the offices. Just to give you an idea, 19.1 million of inbound parcels, 25 million outbound parcels in 2019. Just to give an indication, I think it will be for 2020, 40 to 50% higher, in fact. And that's exactly what we also see in our data volumes. As of, yeah, we have a new hub, what we call in Puurs. From Puurs, we are delivery parcels. So I said we had an atypic, we are an atypic player in the group. So around 60% of our parcels is just what we are getting at the border of Belgium, transport it through Belgium and give it to another BU at the end at the border. So it's cross-border operations. And like you see, every day we have a lot of transport or logistic operations towards our, yeah, let's say neighbor countries, maybe UK and Ireland. You also see it towards Birmingham. That's changed with the whole Brexit operations. So we are working for the Brexit in a cluster together with Germany, Poland, and the Netherlands, and everything is consolidated in the Netherlands before it's been shipped to the UK, in fact. Yes. That's maybe something we are very proud on. So we are hard working in the building of a new distribution center in Vilvoorde. So they are already working on it, and it will be operational, I think, just in 1 year. So the estimation is February 2022. And what you can see here on what's quite unique, it's an investment of 60 million euros. On the floor level, it is a hub, so all the international traffic is coming at the hub. There is a fully automatic sorting in, and on the top you see what we call the last mile. And the last mile is in fact where the drivers pick up the parcel in their routes and will drive towards your homes or offices, in fact. Yes. The business case, and I think this is the most important one. Yeah, go ahead, Timothy. So digital transformation is very, very, very important with us in the operations. In our DNA, in Belgium, we want to deliver every parcel that we got in our hands. But quite often we are dependent from the information that our bigger shippers are sending to us. And there we have a first problem, and it is data. We need data to get that parcel in at your door or in your office or wherever it should be transported to. So to make the life easy or more easy of our drivers, we had put in place some technology. First of all, what we have built is our real-time support platform. I will show you later on a couple of screenshots. That's a Tableau dashboard that we have built on top of what we call scan events. So it means every time there is a scanning in our warehouses or on the roads, we get a trigger in our database, which is a SQL database or was a SQL database, and we could visualize it. We are also working in microzones. So it means that we are doing routing optimizations for our drivers in very small zonings. And yet the PDAs of what we call the mobile device units, also there we follow continuously in a continuous way, new technology. In fact, yeah, if you can go a little bit further. So, and what you also see is that with that digital change, quite a lot of functions within operations are changing quite a lot. And we are here now working in this case, especially for the driver, but also for the team coach and also the transport manager, in fact. Yes, if you can go further. So where it's all about, it is the predicts. And that's something we are very, very proud of within DPD. I can name the names. In fact, if you are shipping something or if an e-commerce platform is shipping something to you, Timothy, with our competitors, the post, bpost, you will get an alert to say, listen, tomorrow we will deliver your parcel. If that e-commerce platform is choosing, for example, the biggest competitor, PostNL, you will receive maybe a text message or an email to say, listen, Timothy, we will come with your parcel in the morning or in the afternoon. We try to do it better, and we will send an email or text message to Timothy and say, listen, Timothy, we predict an hour window. So it means that we will set a frame within an hour on which the driver will be at your door. And then you can choose whatever you do. And that's what we call our in-flight options. We have 4 in-flight options, which mean that you can say, no, I'm home, Joe. Yeah, come, please. Or you can say, listen, I'm not at home, but I have a safe place. I'm at my home. You can put it at the front or the back door or whatever. Or my neighbors are at home, so you can drop it over there. And another one is, the third one is that you can say, listen, I'm not at home and I know it's a valuable parcel, so maybe you can come back tomorrow. That's also a possibility. And quite a lot of people in big cities, and I'm now talking for my colleagues in the UK, so London, Amsterdam, Paris, they say, listen, no, we are not at home, we have no safe place, so put it in a parcel shop. And that's exactly those kind of data that we are capturing just to see on what is the behavior of the customer in fact. So predict was the driver. If you can go a little bit further, yes. So we are messaging with the chatbot, and maybe the next one, yes. So this was our business case, in fact. So like I explained, everything was scan based. So it means every time we have a scan, we received a trigger in our central database, and based on the SQL platform, we tried to visualize what the driver was doing each 30 seconds. That was the ID, but we did it on a scan base because the MDU has also a 4G or a network connectivity. And quite often we were talking, our CEO, first of all, talked to me and said, listen, you have to look at my real-time solution. And I was a little bit in shame, and I said, for myself, I told to the team, listen, this is not a real-time, this is a scan-based real-time solution. So it's a complete different mindset. And he told me, yeah, but real-time, we can steer our drivers, we can see if they will hit some issues on the road, etc. So we were looking for a real-time application, because the on-prem and the not real-time element, sometimes we receive that data 2 days later in our central database, because we have some drivers who really knows very well on how they can put the 4G in an off modus, so that we don't have any idea of what they are doing. So they were scanning in let's say the cache of the MDU, and when they came at the depot, they put it in a cradle, and then all the scans were updated. So that was something that we wanted to avoid. And another point where we struggled was the data volumes. I quite often like to tell it. So we are capturing all the scan events from the parcels as of 2014 till today in our central database. First of all, we need to keep them from a legal basis, a couple of months, but not 6 years. But for my data scientist, Marlene, she loves to play in that data, because she never complained to me that she didn't have enough data. So we were looking to something that was real time, which was scalable, and also we had some issues also to keep that platform and the SQL environment up and running every day. If we had an electricity issue, so the SQL was down, we could not capture it. So that's why, and it's also our CIO's idea, and he's a strong believer in putting everything in a cloud environment. Maybe you can go to the next one, Timothy. No, you're going back.
I can try. Yeah, I hit my scroll wheel, and that's what happens.
So this is in fact a little bit what we had, some static reporting. And yeah, it was simply that. It was in tables, and it was doing what it was expected to do, but it was not looking very, very nice. Maybe the next one also. Yeah, what can you do, in fact, with such graphs? You have an idea where your vans are riding, but we want to go a step further. And that's exactly the next slide, Timothy. Yes. So what we have done is we pulled out. So we first of all, we have installed an application. We wrote a simple application because all those MDUs, mobile devices, are Android devices. A simple application that is turning in the background, so the driver even doesn't know that it's turning on his MDU. We checked it from a legal perspective and it was okay. You have to know that quite a lot of those drivers, maybe most of them are subcos. So it means they are not DPD employees. And I don't know if someone has an ID on the stops that a good driver is making every day. It's around 180 stops that he is doing. A starter, if he can get 80 stops, is already a big challenge. But in average, we have around 140 stops in every route. That's the optimization that we like to do. So we capture every 30 seconds the geolocation, the battery level, the network provider, the network strength in blocks of 20%, and also the number of the mobile device units. Why the number? Because we can then also link it to the driver or the subco. And later on, maybe in our ambitions, this is where we are building our Go Green case on it. So it is sending every 30 seconds. So every day we receive around 7 to 8 millions of rows only from HeartBeat data lines. It takes us 970 milliseconds to get it in our cloud environment, in our SnowFlake cloud environment. And a couple of seconds later, we have it already in our embedded Tableau application. So it means that in a couple of seconds, we can help the driver to obtain his, let's say, KPIs and his targets on which he gets his bonus every month. And maybe, Timothy, you can show and guide the audience a little bit through what we have built on top of Tableau.
I'd be happy to. Yeah, I think you've set the story quite well for everyone. And what I can show you is really, I'm not going to call it the end product, but this is a prototype, I guess, of something we were working on as I was still involved in the project at that time, which were the very early days, conceptual mostly. And this is not what the product looks like today, but this is as far as I got with the team, and the team that Michel has presented earlier has picked this up in the meantime. And there's a few things, as I will just walk through this casually, that are interesting to highlight, which is first of all, the fact that this is technically a Tableau dashboard, but it's not just a Tableau dashboard. It's a Tableau dashboard embedded in a web application, which you can see from these buttons, which are not Tableau native, from the fact that there is no Tableau server related interface around it and everything. And that's important because Michel mentioned that many of the drivers and third parties that DPD works with are subcontractors with team leads who coordinate their teams. And the idea here of offering Tableau in an embedded situation, if you will, where those subcontractors, those team leads at the subcontractor will be able to access the data themselves, is DPD offering them a tool to manage that in a much more data-driven way, which DPD just pushes outside of their own boundaries towards the people that they work with. And again, just to give you an idea, this is a simulation of what the tool would do based on the predict and heartbeat data that Michel has introduced to you about the mobile devices, their status, and how they are doing en route during their tour. And I simulate that with some actual data. That the data is real, though it's been simplified, GDPR, etc. There's no personal information about drivers or stops in here, but it's enough for us to show how one of the profiles who uses this dashboard could go. So, they would sign into the tool, be it internal to DPD or external, and they could look at the number of devices that they are in charge of. And they could see, for example, that at the start of the day, everything was going well, but that a few devices have gone offline. You can probably tell this was the testing period still, which explains why almost 50% of them were in that status. But that helps us make the same case, though, about the fact that they can then have an overview of how long it's been since which device has been connected. and based on that, make a decision as to how they will proceed, ideally towards an actionable insight in the end. Meaning, imagine I'm that team lead and I'm saying, oh, 67% here for this device, and they've pinged us since quite a while. Maybe I'm going to look into this, and then it's obviously Tableau's power coming up here, with the interaction and everything that we can do around that, all with that almost real-time information. Well, there's 900 milliseconds of delay. I think we can call that real time, as this comes from the SnowFlake repository where it's all stored. So on the left side, I have my heartbeat information, which helps me drive the decision as to where I'm going to focus my actions. And then, if I select this tour and driver, I can see, for example, in a combination of that predict and heartbeat information, where we are at this very point in time and which stops they have completed and whether there has been a delay. And the same visual that is a summary on top here, I can see like this. And I would just want to say one more thing, is that everything in logic and data behind this is driven by Michel and their team. What I've done really, as an external person, as a consultant from Bistry, was really, I was their hands in Tableau and they guided me, and we built this on their logic, their imagination even, and I was just doing what they told would be interesting to see. And I think putting the two together works well, because I'm pretty good with Tableau and you're pretty good with your business, Michel, so we get to some interesting results.
That was my timer to be
Oh,
sure that
okay.
not
Yeah.
late.
So we have just, a map view is always one, that's a people pleaser. So there's even a map view based on that predicted and everything. I really like how you can see they've done this, they have missed these, for now they should be there, etc. But you're right. And then, the call to action in the end, which the dashboard drives to as well. But yeah, maybe it is time for some questions. If you think, Michel, it's okay to conclude our story at this point. We've taken the time that we had, I think so.
That's a beautiful dashboard, by the way. I want to dig in.
There will be time for that at some point, I'm sure.
Got it.
And it's a continuous improvement, because here now you see a little bit, we have those lines that's going up. So maybe, Timothy, we have also to add, maybe in a yellow button, the heartbeat locations, and not the stop locations, so that we have a more beautiful line of the tour that the driver is doing.
You're right.
But that's
you're
the
right.
next iteration.
Yeah, which we'll keep doing. So do post questions in the chat, by the way. I'm not sure if the Q&A is being monitored. Well, there is nothing.
There isn't anything right there. And I don't think there is anything right now,
Okay.
but maybe someone will
okay.
think of something later.
Yeah, I guess, if Michel, if you have a few words to conclude, and eventual questions can always come later if necessary.
Yes, indeed. I think that we have here also proved that you need a strong business case before you can build something powerful and data-driven, in fact. We don't have the intention, and that's exactly what the team is doing, to just build dashboards for building dashboards and to use Tableau just for visualizing ad hoc some stuff, in fact. So we are really, so to give you an idea, in 2021, DPD has in Belgium more than 72 new projects, IT related. Mostly of them are IT related. And from those 72 new projects, we have around 68, which have a data component. So data becomes more and more important in the whole parcel delivery. Just as an example, if you send something to the UK, we have to do a Brexit custom declaration. If I don't have the data for that parcel, I simply cannot put it over the border. It's not accepted in the UK. So yes, first of all, think very well of the business case. And I think it's also healthy to start dreaming once you have some results, because I think only on this topic, we already defined with the team, I think 10 or 15 new use cases on what we potentially can do with it. And that's the unique, I think, setting of those projects.
Wonderful. Data before dashboards. It sounds like.
That's a great tagline. We have to remember that.
I guess, and a good segue too, because when you get to the dashboard, then Annabelle has a few things that I think she can teach us. So if you'd like, you can take over the screen as a host, and then the floor belongs to you.
Thank you. Let's see. I have always issue when I share the screen. By the way, uh, I click on the link you gave, Marianne. It was a very
Yeah.
good one. So let me go to my presentation. I remove this little image that are disturbing me. So yes, today I will be speaking about, yeah, it's like, I'm not a designer, I'm a data analyst. So I will give you my point of view or how we can do a functional but yet beautiful dashboard with time as a constraint. So some quick word about me. I put myself in presentation mode. My name is Annabelle Rincon. I have the chance to be Tableau Social Ambassador for this year. I am also a Tableau certified professional. I am working for a Swiss bank, and I am leading the Tableau Center of Enablement or Excellence, depending on how you want to call it. My patients in life are obviously Tableau, my dog, and chocolate. I always have a lot of chocolate close to my office. So I'm also co-leading two initiatives, Data Plus Women in Zurich and a Tableau user group global called Analytics. Both of you event, if you want to participate or yeah, or just to attend, you can scan the QR code. And we make sure that the Tableau user group Analytics is never on the same time than the Belgium Tableau user group. So you can attend both. Okay, I like to make some jokes. So where do I come from? It's useful that I spend 1 minute to tell you that, because you will understand maybe my approach. I work as a relationship manager. So I have a master degree on finance, financial markets, risk management, but I couldn't find a job on that after the university. So I start working as a relationship manager. And after some time, I passed the exam to enter the French Alternative Bank, where I work there as a statistician and data analyst. And what did I do there? I connect to the data warehouse. I build a pipeline in a tool called SAS. And then we didn't have another tool to do that. So we did a visualization in Excel, the comment in Word, and we were working with the publication team because all our reports are printed. So that's the world I come from. I will not comment on the graph. They are not so easy to pick up, difficult to understand, but it's okay because it's a printed publication. People takes times to read them and try to understand them. But that is very far away of visual analytics. When I moved to Switzerland, my first job was as Dine Deal, which is an e-commerce company. And there I discovered a totally new world. I fell in love with Tableau. When I saw the capacity of the tool, I mean, it really changed my life and also my perspective. And I discovered what is visual analytics, that visually you present the data. It's so you can take a fast decision. Okay, so what is the objective for today? The objective to today is how we can do powerful dashboard in real life with time as a constraint. So I will have three steps. The first step is, okay, I will show you some tip how we can make it accessible and still enjoyable. Find the right balance. And the third is make it functional. It's not on an order of priority. Huh? You will see the last part is very important. So make it accessible and enjoyable. So here, and again, that is my personal opinion. I often been asked, hey, Annabelle, should I have a template or design guide for my company? Personally, I understand why people are interested in having a template. So a template is like a dashboard like this, that every dashboard in the company will look like the same design, the same color, the same box, the same type of graphic everywhere. I understand that they want like to feel the same, to have the same look and feel for every dashboard in the company. And they often say to me, yes, because the user are expecting this type of graphic there, so they know how to read them. Personally, I prefer that the company invest on a design guide, or at least to train their user, that they train them in data literacy, they train them how to read some most complicated graph, and they train them, the analyst, on using the best visual practices. Because at the end, if everyone uses best practice, your dashboard will look the same, and you can even have a logo, you see. And it also gives me like the flexibility, if I don't have to use a template, to really make the graph that match my business case. But again, that is my personal opinion. Exactly. So we should, and yes, it's also easier to maintain. If tomorrow you ask me to change a color or change order or something on a template, I would have like to read on everything. Yeah, not so much. Okay. So again, like the first step was like make it accessible and enjoyable. And that's the color. It's something very important. What you want is that your dashboard is being seen by the full company, or at least the user that should see your dashboard can see the dashboard. And there is like an important aspect that is often neglected, is like the color deficiency. There is 8% of the male population that are colorblind, meaning that they don't see the color as people without color blindness see it. So here it's a regular vision that you have on the bottom left. And you have like different circle here to represent, okay, excuse me for the pronunciation, I'm sure that I will not pronounce it correctly, deuteranopia. That is when you have like you don't see the green cones, the protanopia when you don't see the red cones. And here you can already see that if you use, for instance, red and green, for some of them, the distinction is not so easy to make. And why it is important, because I will say, sadly, the top manager are often men. So if 8% of the men population, it's most probably that 8% of your top manager cannot see the difference between red and green. So you should take care, and also take care of other type of color deficiency. And for that, you have a lot of online tools. I have one on my phone. I scan my dashboard a lot of time and to try to simulate and to see if the color I have chosen are okay or not. So it's just a little consideration that I would like that you have in mind. So again, here it's one specific color palette. Often I have my stakeholder and say, hey, Annabelle, on the dashboard, I want to be able to see what is good, what is okay, and what is bad. And yes, please use the traffic light color for me. So here I have obviously a problem with that. I have a problem because, like the previous slide I show you, people with color deficiency will have a difficulty to see the difference between the green and red. But also it's because here it's just one graph, and it seems already very overwhelming for me. Maybe I have a deficit of attention, I don't know, but I see that and I cannot focus my attention. Should I be attracted with the green, or should I be attracted with the red? Here, by the way, if I have like some people in the audience that are color deficient, I put a little later here to indicate what is green and what is red. And again, that doesn't solve the solution, that doesn't find a solution for them, because they will spend a lot of time scanning the later to see what is red and what is green. You also have to consider another point, is that in some countries, the red is something good. So you cannot sometimes associate red being like something bad. And for instance, for the previous presentation that you have seen with Michel, for a color company, you cannot use the same red to represent something bad, that the color company is red for DPD, for instance. So how we solve this little issue? You have different possibility. You can use an accessible color. So just replace this traffic light color by an orange to blue divergent. That people with color deficiency will see the difference. Blue is like a common color for something that is good, the blue sky. I also recommend like to always put a legend here, okay, say clearly that the blue represent like cities with that are profitable, and orange city that are unprofitable. That's it's a way, but you can also say, okay, what I want to focus my attention, what is my data story here? Maybe I want just to attract the attention of my reader on something that is unprofitable. So just put the rest as neutral and just focus your attention on the orange. And here it's easier for me to focus my attention and say, okay, the states that are unprofitable are Philadelphia, Chicago, Austin, Burlington, and so on, which when I was there, it was much more difficult for me to watch it. So another question, hey, Annabelle, what if I already did it? How I can solve that? So here, it's a part of a very good blog post. It's not from me. It's from Geoffrey Schaeffer. Here I put the reference if you want to see it, which he had like a dashboard for the London Transport for London that is using like the red, the traffic light color, and he wants to replace the green to this blue. But instead of doing it instantaneously, what he did is that every month he changed slightly the green. You see, so the user gets used to, and at the end of the 6 months, they are okay with this blue, this green blue, which is a better option for color deficient people. So, okay, what I try to go fast. What about corporate color? So again, I often not a big fan to use corporate color on the dashboard because it complicates. I mean, if the company, the corporate color of the company change in 2 years, you have to change everything, obviously. You have to very think through about how I can use a corporate color, not use the certain color of the corporate color to express something bad. And also, don't try to put all the corporate color together on the same dashboard. That is like from a real example. Obviously, the data is from, it's fake data. Huh? You recognize this Superstore data set. But yeah, for this company, the corporate color was a black, this bluish, yellowish, and pink. And they try to use it all together. And again, what I prefer, I use the color. I mean, the color, it's like a marvelous tool for encoding data and make your dashboard stronger. So I prefer not to use a different corporate color to represent different segments, but that is my my opinion. I prefer to encode the data, like we said before, with this blue or orange. Or if you absolutely need to use a corporate color, pick one and put the other as neutral. Here, the idea I had for this dashboard is like, okay, when the user will use, for instance, a click on consumer, sorry, the consumer part will highlight in green and the rest will be gray, for instance. That is something that you could do. Okay, the second part, it's find the right balance. If you are not a designer like me, what you want is that your dashboard are as smooth as possible. So you remove everything that is not data driven, let's say. That is already like a very good part, but we will see. So try to focus on the data. That is the first step. Keep it functional and simple. Use the color meaningfully. So give like a color a meaning. Try to decrease the ink ratio. We will see an example. I'll just go through everything. Give comprehensive title with instruction. Ah, yes. And by the way, give like a proper title to your worksheet. That is already like a good point. Format the number, not to have like, I don't know how many numbers after the dot. Name the worksheet, like I already see. Work the tooltip. That's already a good one. And make a user guide or info button. So here, let's click, let's see what happened exactly. That is a blog post from someone that I really like. So that is blog. It explains you how to create a tooltip help screen for your dashboard. Yeah, it's very, very good, but we can speak to that later. So focus, exactly, let's go. So I am a data analyst, I do a dashboard, I put all the worksheet together on the dashboard and voila. Yes, I have my segment here, my sell by segment. I have here my map. I have the subcategory split by sales and profit. And I have each dot has an order ID to see the distribution. Okay, how I save this dashboard? First step, we add the title. You see, already we know better what is it. I told you because I already knew it, but with a title, it's more obvious. So I have a proper dashboard title, I have worksheet title. Okay, so now I know that is the distribution of the cell across the territory that I was trying to have. Okay, my favorite design tip is use blank. So you drag and drop blanks between the different worksheets and your dashboard already brief. That is already useful. And again, I'm not a designer. That is tips to make your dashboard cleaner, more enjoyable for your audience. But that works. So here, now I will try to reduce the ink ratio. What it means is that I will reduce all that is here and doesn't bring any value. For instance, does it bring any value to have this 0K, this axis? No, because I already have the number. I want to focus in on the number. Or does it bring to have like the grid line? Maybe not if I add the tooltip. Or here's the same. So let's click. You see, but I did something else. So here, indeed, I remove and I keep only the number because at the end, I want like this big number. I remove the grid line, but I did something here. What I did is that I don't need to have a different symbol for each order ID because I just want to see the distribution. So I put just a circle to present the order ID. Okay, now you have to think how this dashboard will be used. If you know that it's already like an interactive dashboard, maybe I don't need to have the split consumer corporate home office here again because I can, by clicking on consumer, filter this down. That's what I did. So here, and very good tip, put clearly what the dashboard will do if you click. So put instruction, click to filter per segment, click to filter on the map. You know, it will already help you. And now you can also reorganize. So you could, often what we like in designs is that to have on the up left corner, the most important information, and in the bottom right, the less important information. And again, that's because we are in Europe. If we have been in like Asia, it will be the contrary because reading movement is not the same. And again, here, use a color with a meaning. If I want to focus my attention on unprofitable assets, I change. I put red to highlight the unprofitable, or I put another color if I don't want to use the red. And then you can make some last formatting, maybe change the font, give more space, and put a background if you would like. So this dashboard will not win any prize, but that will make the difference between the first version of it and this one. Yes, the final look. That before when I said that, make sure that you know how to use the dashboard. If you know that it's interactive, do it like this. So when you have a dashboard like this, for instance, it's cool. I know that I can click to filter, but think about it. If I click to filter, maybe I need to reorganize the window, because if I select only furniture and I have only one subcategory here, I will have all this big space for only one subcategory. Maybe I will not use interior view to fit the worksheet interior view. Maybe I want to have like a fit with, for instance. Again, with the row level security. If you have a row level security, I encourage you to simulate what the dashboard will look like for certain people. And here, for instance, if this person only can see phones because he has this row level security, you see your dashboard, it's not the same experience for one user to another. So that you should have that in mind to be able to change it. And again, I try my best to go fast. The last part is make it functional. And it's the last point, but it's not the least. It's very important. Often before thinking anything about design, you should think about your user. Why they want this dashboard, what they want to analyze, what they want to achieve with it, and don't stop asking them questions. Because depending on the requirements, the final result can be totally different. I really like the quote from Henry Ford. If they had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. So let's see that. So let's imagine, so you need to build a dashboard about spendings. Fine. So here we have two use cases. The first use case, the stakeholder wants to know what are the spending this year compared to the previous year. He wants to know the split by subsidiary, by department. He wants to know the top N vendor and how much they represent. So to answer this question, you could do something like that. And here, yes, I'm comparing. It's in red when I'm spend more than the previous year. Here you see in dot lines as the previous year spending, and in bar the current year. I see my top 10, my top 15 vendors. I can change the top N. I can see the distribution. I have big numbers. I have the evolution. And yes, when I click, it filters fine. But if my user would have want to see, no, I'm not interested of comparing with last year. I want to see the expense by subsidiaries and by country for this current year only. Don't do that. That will not match his requirement. And if it doesn't match his requirements, he will not play with it. He will not use it. So to do that, to answer this case too, you could do something like that. Here you have by region, you have the evolution by region, the distribution by country, and the top vendor per region. And yeah, my user doesn't want any interaction. So I didn't provide any interaction. So that is the way I learn from being an analyst to providing visuals for other people. And here it was like, so here I put like some reference of the book. I think that what is really important is that you try to make your dashboard accessible for everyone, enjoyable, find the right balance, and obviously make it functional. And that will not win a Viz of the Day in the Tableau Public Gallery, but it will make your dashboard very powerful in real life. Do you have some question?
I know. Let me. Do we have anything in the Q&A? I don't think so. I think first of all, the really super cool presentation that you made, is that published somewhere so people can go back to it, or?
Yeah, it's published on Tableau Public.
Okay, yeah.
I will publish the next version today. Yeah.
Great. So for anyone who wants to check it out, I put the links in the chat box, by the way, to Annabelle's blog and also her Tableau Public profile. So I definitely recommend going back to that and kind of taking a look at what it takes to do that. And I think for saying you're not a designer, those dashboards look pretty slick. So I wouldn't underestimate that. Let's see, do we have Any questions? No.
So your audience is quite shy, huh?
Yes, I know. I already asked you my question, so I think, yeah, maybe we'll give it one more minute. Okay, I think we're swapping out hosts now to see what's.
I saw that Belgian people are like less shy than a Swiss
but
person.
I am too. I think we lost Timothy, because I don't see him on the panelist button anymore, and he has.
I bored him. He left.
I don't know. I think maybe he got disconnected. But yeah, we had Marianne de Schrijvers, a name. What's the word for that? A naamgenoot. Sorry, I couldn't think of the Dutch word, but she said very useful. Go and learn on Tableau Public. So yeah, definitely check out Tableau Public, or any of the links that we shared, because there's lots of resources for you to learn from. Yeah, and we've got Timothy back. We were getting worried where you had run off to.
Yeah. Not to worry. No, my internet connection had run off. I was here all the time.
That's fine. So yeah, thank you, Annabelle, for joining us. I think that was super, super helpful. I'll definitely go back to that and kind of look through the content. I think color, definitely super important to be mindful of that. And yeah, thanks again for making the time to come hang out with us. Okay, so I think we have a few more items that we just quickly wanted to run through. I think, Timothy, you have the deck, right?
I should be able to still present.
Yeah.
Let's see. My whole world was thrown upside down, but let's. Well, you know how it is. You're in the context, and suddenly.
Yeah, I know. You kind of get swallowed up. Now, just a few things that we kind of typically go over at the end.
Right.
For those of you that aren't really onto social media or following Tableau or any of the things that are being posted, I wanted to highlight the new community hub that was, I think it was released, was it 1 or 2 weeks ago now? I definitely recommend that you check that out, especially for the folks that are new. There's lots of great content there to help you get started to navigate the community, lots of great resources that are available. So definitely make sure that you go there. And I think we also like to add, can you go to that? Yeah. I wanted to mention some new user groups that have recently been started up that are more focused on a specific area or sub area. The analytics one, Annabelle, which I believe you run with Sedale. So really, I want to make sure that we mention that. There's one specifically for building out communities within companies. I think there's a lot of question for that recently as well. So that was started up I think they've done a few sessions already. So if that's something that you're looking into and how to scale analytical communities within your company, I definitely recommend that you check that out. And for the folks that want to know more about Tableau Prep, I've joined 1 or 2 of those, and there's some have been a lot of great technical sessions recently. So if that's a tool that you're looking to scale, you can get some great insights from that as well. And then I think at the end, we always leave the details on how you can, keep in touch with us.
Which I think are shared as well with the attendees, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, we always post this out to everyone after, so you'll get the links. I think all of the links in the chat. Maybe I'll make sure that I copy them, but we'll get those out to you. And I always do a mailing to everyone that joined to make sure, with a link to the recording and all of the things, so you can go back to it and go over some of the great content that we had today. So I personally want to thank Michel and Timothy and Annabelle for presenting. That was really good to start off the year. And I'm sure Timothy has some closing thoughts as well.
You see me doing this, maybe that's why I say that. I had a closing thought, which was triggered by a remark you made at the beginning of the group. You didn't emphasize it much, but it's something that I think would fit around the end. Is we do have continually open job postings for the Belgium Tableau user group. So if anyone is interested in helping us
Yes.
organize this, there are only 2 of us, and I've mentioned this before, but I can't emphasize that enough. It's Marianne who really does most of the work, and I'm just here today. Especially as these events might become in person again at some point.
Yes,
It
let's
helps
hope so.
having, yeah, let's indeed. But it
Yeah.
helps to have, a bit more resources and to be able to divide some of the tasks. So if
Yeah.
that has been something you've considered, but you're not sure of, we're happy to talk you through what this is like at some point. Don't
Mhm.
hesitate to just reach out, even if it's just a seed of an ID, but there's always room for people who are passionate about the type of things we talk about here.
Yeah, absolutely. So the more the merrier, let's say. So if you have any questions, I hope that you know where to find us by now. If not, all of the links to our pages and where you can reach out are going to be in a deck that we send out later. So
yeah, no credentials required. Anyone's welcome.
No, nothing special. No.
Well, yeah, there's one motivation. That's the only thing.
True.
Yeah.
True. No credentials. I was going to say no, nothing really. No, but motivation. Definitely.
Well, yeah, just that.
Yeah.
And I think, that allows us to conclude just in time. I haven't seen other questions come in. I may have missed that, but, again, as Marianne said, if you know where to find us or find the presenters, then, we can just get you through to them. And I'm all out of words at this point, I guess.
Yeah, and I think we're good on time, actually. So right on the 4:15, which is great.
Excellent. Well, let's enjoy the rest of our days, and we hope to welcome you in our next edition. Thanks again to the guest
Bye,
speakers.
everyone. Yeah.
See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.